Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our regular meeting of Monday, October 31st. I hope you had a good Halloween day. It ended at 7 o'clock, but because you're here this evening, for people here. We will start as usual with the national anthem. Now the council's reflection, us as elected official, commit to look at our community favorably, inspiringly. We're also taking responsibility to always have a right judgment and at all time during our discussion, so all our actions are efficient, inspired towards the wellness and the interest of the citizen of this town. Thank you. So before we start our discussions, I would like to mention that we're gathering on the traditional unceded territory of the Woolastook and Mi'kmaq people, as usual. Mr. Clerk, we do have quorum, so all our members are here. Do we have any members of the council who would like to declare a conflict of interest on one of or more of the items? Seeing none, thank you. Now, we need a motion to adopt the agenda as presented, moved by Councillor Emile O'Brien, seconded by Councillor Sylvie Colette Boudreau. Questions on the motion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye, against nay. Motion carried. 5.1 is the minutes of the of October 17, 2 weeks ago. So I would need a motion to adopt like the moved by Councillor Paul Boudreau, seconded by Councillor Janice Cormier. Questions on the minutes? Errors, omissions, or anything that wasn't clear? Seeing none, all those in favor signify saying aye, against nay. Motion carried. Oh, I'm broadcasted, so you will have to check with one of them. I'm on YouTube right now, so okay. So check with one of them here. Yeah, the blue T-shirt. So yes, there's a presentation. So Monsieur Laforêt and Mr. Hickey. I had to think about it. As you know, we made a request to the council to bring sewer and storm sewer on our property on Bellevue Street. So there are several options. So this one here is. So that's the remnant of the land. It's the equivalent, as I said, of all we built like over the last 23 years. So it means, so of course it will probably like on Rachel Sébastien Street will cause inconvenience, like Dominic Street, Beaubridge, and Casey Street. We had agreed in 2013, we discussed with the town that to get the services of the municipal services, to bring those services to the property. So Mr. Bello and Mr. Pellerin were part of those discussions. And we wanted to comment. So this is the section. So all this section has been completed, what is showing. So it's quite, so it's been completed until here. The only section remaining is the one here. Is the part to provide services on the on Bellevue Street. As I said, we had discussed this at the time, and at the time the town had required us like on the map, so that this is the portion we had to give to the town to bring the services to Bellevue Street, and also like the town wanted to buy like the land between our property and Bellevue Street to accommodate those services, and we were just getting ready to start doing all the work when the director took the decision not at the time to proceed with this work. So her argument was there's a major chances if it took 23 years like to do what we did on Casey Street, Sebastien, etc., that it could take another 23 years and the services in place could have become obsolete, or they could have become like not up to the building standards like in 20 years from now, or they could have been deteriorated and not being usable anymore. So at the time we were a little bit deceived. So it was negotiation with her like before. So before we started like engineer work, so the town was supposed to bring services up to the property line. Otherwise, we would have need to take some steps like with your engineers to do the engineering differently, to possibly go through the land of Mr. Hickey, Mr. Fougère, etc., to bring the services to Robert Street. Would have been, and it would have served those streets. So as you know, us and the street, so we have to get on Bellevue Street. If you have any questions, you are welcome to. As I mentioned to you, we were supposed to start work because at the time, they call it watercourse alteration, because we needed this document, and it was agreed we would do the work and the town will and if you look the date, it was in 2015. So the negotiation started in 2013 and the works was supposed to start in 2015. To do the pipe installation. So understand what Marco decides to. So if usually at the speed we were developing downtown, it would have taken 20-25 years before we would get there. So why would the town invest in something that would only be done in 23 years from now? So Mr. Laforêt, if you understand well, you would like. So you would like to know, so when the town will install those pipe. And I could also, if you want to distribute it to the rest of the members, it's an email from Margot. We have Gilles Bello, Danny Pellerin, Jeff Boudreau, they're all copied on that same email. And the paragraph that I highlighted, switch to English.
Entertain your request for reimbursement of frontage fees on the proposed LFPP. Moi, j'avais demandé que la ville paye.
I had asked like for the town to pay like have the fees for Justin Street because they're supposed to there's a park that's planned, so we had asked the town to pay half of the frontage, and it was no. So it continued in the second paragraph, so it's to include.
Sure, a proper agreement will need to be put in place, EI payment of reasonable costs for the sanitary main from your property line to the connection on Bellevue Street, condition on the town reaching an agreement with the landowners, ça c'est le terrain que vous avez acheté, and acquiring the
Yeah, so the
an easement. Ça fait que vous aviez, ça avait été dans votre, cause de l'étranger.
so you were supposed to work on deed.
Responsible for obtaining all proper permits, comme le Wawa qu'on avait été
At the Wawa we got.
the work as part of the construction of the subdivision.
So it's an email we got for her on April 23rd, 2013. So the Wawa is from 2015. So we were going to proceed, and she decided. I think she had good reason like not to proceed at the time because it would be major chances like it wouldn't have been used, and now it's been 8 years. It could have been 20 years, 30 years, like depending on how the town would develop. If you look at the plan we provided to you, like we're talking about 147 residences that will be built like in 2 years. It's not a 20-year project. We're talking about 2 years. We wanted to start this fall. We had provided you with prices in September. And Mr. Maillet is here with his two associates. They're already so they kind of committed like to have the develop, and Stefan Colette also committed for the west side, and we have Zach Corwin for the east side of the development. So all of this, like it's all pre-sold. So if so, business is good as usual. Business is good because the developments, as Mr. Mayen, etc., they're building, and they're in their 30s, and that's the time I started in Shediac, and well, I'm almost done, and they're starting. So that's the same. That's the case with Marco, Rico, and several of others. So and you know probably most of them, and there are different options. Like probably there's some problem with the capacity of the pumping station, because Joey sent us an email. Mr. Bello is aware, like they have to look how much it would cost, like to upgrade it, so to add services. So there is another option, and I think like maybe the town should look with the commission, and I think the commission should make a contribution because it's always the town like to seems to be stuck to pay the bill. If they would connect on the park. The trailer park or mini home park. So there's a 10 inch line that would accommodate what's being forecasted. What Mr. Hickey and Marco Fougère would do, but would also cover all the issues on Bellevue Street, so that the lift station could be eliminated at Bellevue, so everybody's saving on maintenance, repairs, and on the operating costs. And once lift station that wouldn't be necessary, and the other side like on the trailer park would be Raveler, so there's no like a lift station needed, so it would serve all like the rest as part of this part of town, no, not only us but everyone else. And the 10 inches line would accommodate the project like Alexandre Giroir is supposed to do, present it if it go if it's okay with you. It would cover that like so the option to trailer park, that would be the logical way of doing it. It's a little bit more costly, but it eliminates like a lot of problems long term. So it clean like like eliminates like the capacity of the sewer system and the maintenance also. It's reducing the cost. So if you don't have a pump, there's a whole lot of maintenance. So I have a few council members who would have questions. Mr. Boudreau, thanks for clarification. Just to make sure, so the work hasn't started yet, right? No. So all the engineering is completed. So what you're asking, and you made like an estimate, like, is it legal? Can we take like the quotes from a developer and pay the developer? So do we have to go through like call for tender? It's a public line, so it's a town. It belongs to the town. So we need to go to have a call for tender. Like I have a hard time. I need to have it. Just it's if it would have been a private line, it wouldn't be a problem. But and we had to notify Mr. Laforêt of the situation. If you look at what I had first, like the quotes, they come from our engineers, like because the municipality does not is asking like for quotes for estimates for engineer and us, and number two, it means like ML need to complete like the works, gets the permits and finish by and to be reimbursed. So we have like an agreement what the cost would be. So it gives us a better idea. This is for the sewer system. So the like water storm sewer, sanitary sewerage and the storm sewer. So why would it be like the sewer system that would be responsible to offer the services? It's just a question. It's a good answer. I'm not sure of the answer. Yeah, so the commission met with us, and they will never do like a contribution. Unfortunately, like the town does not own like the sewer system, so it's an independent commission. See, if you want to create precedent, I could probably give you at least a dozen like. So when we prepare Isabellan, so we had like to get the sewer way by the Riverside Street. We had to go on private line. So we did this at the time until the intersection of Isabellan and Edward Street. Just maybe to serve like 20 houses. So the sewer, like on the corner of Isabellan and Edward Street, would be at least 30 feet deep. Say if I have to get like 30 feet and go up to LeBlanc Street. So this was done. And for other examples, well, Main Street. When we started on Laforêt Street, like the town pays like for the infrastructure, so we paid for it, but the town paid for it up to your property line. And the same for Webster. Webster Street was created to accommodate our street, Sébastien, Rachel Street, and Irene Street, the same. So before previously would stop like at 77 Casey Street, everything would stop there. And another example is Casey Street, like part of we went from Harbor Street at the time. It was, and we went up to Francis Brun apartment building. So there were no sewer services there and no water services. So at the time, I think it was Gérard Béliveau. He paid like to go from the intersection on Webster. It was Harper at the time to get those houses. So in our case, it's been there for a long time. It was always the case like Béliveau Street. So when we started, like the SS was the same. Like we had to bring the services. They also benefit, like once everything's connected, it benefits to them, but they're not contributing. Yeah, you can say that, but I can't. If there was an upgrade and it would eliminate like the lift station on Béliveau Street, I think it would be beneficial. Like the town would say, like we're upgrading this, and we're eliminating all the problems for other subdivision that will come after.
Ça prendra peut-être une prochaine discussion avec la
So it might be like a discussion for the sewer system and your sewer line. They're 10 inches. So when they get to Wayo Road, will be 12 inches. So there are all kinds of capacity to accommodate more sewers. Thank you.
Conseil Sylvie?
Councillor Sylvie.
Il a posé
Sorry.
la même question.
So he asked the same question, yes. But Mr. Deputy Mayor, good evening, Monsieur Laforêt.
J'aime ta suggestion.
I like your suggestion, but next week we will have a new engineer that will come to work in Shediac. So in my opinion, I think we should wait and give this individual a chance to look at this situation. I don't know how long it will take, but the suggestion you're making are good. I'm not an engineer, so with our engineer that will come start next week, well, it will give us some time like to look at this. So
Merci beaucoup pour
thank you very much.
la situation. Je crois que les membres du conseil l'ont bien compris.
I think the members of the council understood like what we're talking about,
Installé, etc.
where the pipes will be installed, and
Avec l'appui de
so that's something we'll get back to you with the support of our new director of municipal operations.
donner une directive à l'administration.
We could give a direction to the administration.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you. It is good. Number 7, like reading of correspondence. Mr. Denere. So the first letter comes from Adrien Melançon and Claudette Book. It's a request because of the for the pedestrian traffic on the Dona Street. So she's asking the council like to improve maybe the situation. So we're bringing this evening. So we're mandate like the administration to go with some recommendation. So we have a program like to try to install
Placer des trottoirs, des
to have some sidewalks like where that would be good for that could help. And I know like we had to prepare a list. I do not have it right in front of you, but it's something with the municipal operations that could both that and for investment capital investment, because we have a $200,000 budget per year to install new sidewalks and repairs. Councillor Sylvie, thank you. Yes, I wanted to follow up like as what Monsieur Bello was saying. So I would like to mandate the administration to study this case and more in depth. So it would be also to bring it like to the committee. Like I don't know if we would go like the protection committee because it might be like solutions, immediate solutions like for the safety of the residents. I move that we mandate the administration to look at this issue in depth. So moved by Sylvie Colette Boudreau, seconded by Councillor Jean-Marc Galland. Question on the motion? So when you put the mandate for active transportation, so Sylvie, you're part of the... So it was exactly like, it's what we're waiting, like letters like for active transportation. So the pedestrians have no problem like any committee, but if the active transportation like would develop some strategies to add sidewalks, improve them like in town.
comité a pas fait ça.
I think the committee like did not do their think tank yet or brainstorming. So as you mentioned, like we have money surplus for 2023 budget. So that's something we could explore. Thank you.
Question sur la proposition?
Questions on the motion? Mr. Mayor, I know it's minor, but she's also saying also like, so maybe like there's there's some trees like blocking her view. If there's something that we could, like the edge, like if they could cut it, if it's on our lands, like if those trees are on our land. So no, so maybe it's like a tree. Like after a while, like it's it's taking some magnitude. So if we have to look for the safety aspect, but for the drivers, if it doesn't block your vision, like at a street corner, so there's always some standard. So we could look at this. Thank you. So to mandate like the administration. So all in favor, saying by saying aye, against nay, carried. Thank you. Next correspondent, the Saint Joseph Church. It's it's a donation for the amount of $1,000. It's for the maintenance of the parking lot. It's part of the budget. So.
C'est planifié d'un budget également.
So it has to be part of, moved by Councillor Jaman Galan to give an amount of $1,000 for the snow plowing of the parking lot, seconded by Councillor Emile O'Brien. Questions on the motion? If not, all in favor signify saying aye, against nay. Carried. Thank you. Next correspondence comes from Eileen Cook, and John and Eileen Cook. It's a request to install a promotional signs to cover an event. It is like the Shediac Christmas Market. It will be held from December 10th and 11th, and it's essentially to install a sign. Councillor Sylvie Colette Boudreau is moving like to allow like to install the sign. To install a sign for the Christmas market that will be held on December 10 and 11. Councillor Books are very seconds. Questions? It's okay if they want to install the sign right away. It's 1 month prior to the event. That's what the bylaw said. So it will be like a month on November 10th. So that's what they're asking. Councillor Paul Boudreau. I have no problem with the activity and even the sign, but when we put the sign, the electronic signs, like we invested like 75,000, wasn't to avoid this or because we still have the signs from for the festival, and I think it was I think yes, it was for to advertise like the activities in town, but usually like they need the sound, so it's like events for festival or shows or no problem. So the municipality does not have like to install their own signs. Thank you, Jill. For the motion, all those in favor signify by saying aye, against nay. Motion carried. The next correspondence, you get it every year, like well, some years didn't receive it. It's the Moncton Hospital, the foundation, like the Friends of the Moncton Hospital Foundation. I think, Lynn, we had budget usually like we give it between 250 and 750. Usually it's closer to 500, like so we put 2020, there was nothing, so we put 700, and we planned an amount, $750. Councillor Janice. Because we already discussed this and we denied a few months ago, I moved that we deny it and we put it like on the table for 2023 once we get the budget, because we do not have it on the 2022 budget. Yes, we could indicate we would agree like for an amount for 2023, essentially. Do we need, can we adopt this evening, because it's not the budget for 2022. With the municipal reform, all the grant requests, it will be a local expense for 2023. So it's not a share expenses, so the LSTs will not contribute next year, only in 2024. Yes. Then, so we could bring back maybe this a proposal in January. it will be an expense for the council in the budget. For
Conseiller Janice Cormier propose
Councillor
de
Janice Boudreau moves that
refuser la demande.
we deny the request for 2022
C'est ça?
because we denied it like 2 months ago. we denied. Maybe they're asking like October for next, so we deny it for 2022, and we will reconsider for 2023 once we're in 2023. Moved by Councillor Janice Cormier, seconded by Councillor Paul Boudreau. Questions on the motion? Councillor Patricia. I had a question, like, was 250, 750, do we have money? The discretionary fund, because we're talking about important funds, or yeah, we have enough money to cover that.
C'est vrai qu'on avait regardé cette même demande-là.
We kept like this, the same request. I think it was a request that was done like several months ago.
On avait tout rassemblé.
I think they gathered all the information then. So for now, I have a motion
Il a reconsidéré.
and to reconsider like next year.
Tout le monde en faveur avec
All those in favor with this motion signify by saying aye. Against,
contre non.
against nay.
1, 2, 3 non.
3 noes, nays.
3 non.
Ca-
C'est adopté.
It's carried.
Pardon? Émile, Germaine et Jean-Claude.
Émile, Germaine, and Jean-Claude and Patricia.
4, 4, 4. Germaine de Bois.
Yeah, Germaine.
Je n'ai compté 3.
I counted 3, so
Jean-Claude. But non.
Patricia, Émile, and Jean-Claude. So,
On revient à l'année prochaine.
so next year.
Merci.
Next group is from the CBDC, Mrs. Nathalie Leblanc. I send it by email. I received like a request. It's a request. So you have the agreement that was signed like with the CBDC, and also a picture of the parking lot. It's a parking lot where it's in the downtown, like downtown corporation. So there was an agreement in 2004, like not to add the other parking spaces. And they would like those parking spaces as identified as belonging to the CBDC because everyone is using them. I know the discussion between Nathalie and Marc Commier was done in Marc left. It was not completed, so now they would like to redo it with the new individual who start on Monday to make some recommendations to the council. Because we're talking about snow removal, maintenance. So we want to designate like about a dozen of parking space. I'm looking at the photo. If we designate 12, it's pretty much like all the parking. So we have no parking left for downtown at this spot. Yeah. On Main Street, like we lost a lot of parking. So do they have a lot of employees? It's employees and clients.
On peut référer ça à l'administration.
We could refer it to the administration so they can continue their discussion and designate like the 12 spots.
Un peu plus que 12 peut-être. On va vous les énumérer.
At least like to have them numbered or
Plusieurs autres allégations. Monsieur Mansfield.
well, Deputy Mayor, is there a right of way to get in there because it goes on the co-op properties? So they would take all the frontage. So what would they? Do we have to remove like the sidewalk or?
Bonne question.
Good, that's a good question.
On va référer
We
ça à l'administration.
we will refer it to the administration.
Conseiller Émile.
Councillor Emile. Thanks. I just wanted to be clear. Who's the owner of that land? It's a town. Since 2004.
C'était anciennement la bibliothèque était dans l'édifice.
Previously, like the library was in the building, so I think it's a little bit off. So it's taking a lot of space.
12 sur les 16.
So they want 12 out of the 16.
Et
It's
c'est pour les activités.
it's for the activities done within the building itself. So CBDC, they're asking for 12. Doesn't mean like we need to give them 12 spaces, parking spaces. We do not have to, but
avec d'autres discussions.
so maybe with other discussion,
Non, non, on va simplement le référer à
we will
discussion.
simply like refer it to the administration. So
McEwen sera
once Mr. McEwen comes here as the director of operations, it's one thing on his list.
Conseil Peter.
Councillor Peter, so
Distance.
so is there like a maximum distance for parking, or are they asking absolutely for it there? So we decide finally, or because the parking doesn't have to be near the building.
Théorie,
In theory, it could.
on va avoir peut-être un certain nombre, un autre endroit, puis un certain nombre là, par exemple.
It could be there, but there could be like an agreement done with the co-op. Let's say we give it like 12 or 16. I would suggest like we explore the possibilities like at 250 meters from the property. So it's 12 parking spaces like within like 250 meters like the property. So that was the agreement done back then. So thank you for your question. I think you might have answered my question. So in the agreement, did it say like we were giving it to them? So the second page, like it says like
The town of Shediac covenants that it will provide the owner of PID numeric
I switch to English.
Spaces within 250 meters of the property. C'est simple. Donc, s'il n'y en a pas d'autres à l'intérieur là, ben, ça,
50 mètres. If there are no others, it won't be less than 12. So we might explore maybe of changing the agreement. Would be a possibility also to get the permission to use it like during evenings and weekends. So that would I would like to have a meeting like with the directions of operations and also with the manager of downtown Shediac. So wouldn't it be a possibility? Like I don't know how many employees there are, but the others, if it's for individual, like maybe going like to doing business downtown, like maybe 90 minutes of parking. So I don't know, instead of parking there all day, or because 12 out of 16, that's a lot. Visually, like it looks like it's a property of a co-op. Visually, it looks like an extension of their parking lot. So it's always snow removal, and that wasn't part of the agreement.
Sujet à d'autres discussions.
I suggest another discussion, and there's something we want to look at.
Monsieur le conseiller Emile.
Mr. Councilor Emile. So are there any signs saying like no public parking in this section?
Pas à l'heure actuelle. je
Not now. So someone who's going to the co-op, or they can still park there, right?
Tout de suite, oui.
Yes, at the moment, yes.
Je n'ai jamais remarqué, j'ai pas été vérifié.
I never noticed, but I did not check further.
Des choses à vérifier.
I think the CBDC is keeping an eye on it, like because the CBDC, that's why they want to get some signs, like reserve parking. Is it the same like for the National Bank of the Bank of Montreal?
Des fois, on est pris avec des ententes.
Sometimes we're stuck with the agreements that were done by previous council. So behind the Bank of Montreal, like the town has some parking spots, and there's no restriction. So
C'est. Oui, numéro 7.6.
7.6.
Application.
It's a letter from Monsieur Arthur Melançon concerning a request a request to develop like a. Mr. Mayor is aware, so he met with us, and we asked Mr. Melançon to produce an official request. So what he's looking, it's a letter of support. It's for the plan for climate change adaptation. He's now to prepare the complete pack. Essentially, like he's looking support. Yes, it would be good, like a plan for climate change adaptation. So Councillor Paul Boudreau. So I participated, like the plan that was done a couple of 4 or 5 years ago was interesting, was very positive. So I have no problems like to support the request of this association for to make this file go forward. Is it official, Councillor Germain? Yeah, Councillor Germain, seconded by Councillor Paul Boudreau. Questions on the motion? Councillor Emile, I do not understand like this arrangement. Like, is it the town that will manage this budget? No, they provide the request, but they will manage everything. They're just looking to have like a letter, like a moral support letter. So which other ties do we have with them? Except like to give our moral support, there will not be any contribution from the town of Shediac, so they will get funding from the province because they're submitting a request for the environmental trust fund. I think it was tied with the town. Yeah, because at the time we do have like our own plan of climate adaptations. It's one thing we encourage. When we was approached for this request, well, it's something we encourage for the environment, and it might be also something that would involve the town, but later. Thank you. Two others, Councillor Janice and then Councillor Paul. Absolutely, yeah, I support like this request, but when I was reading the letter, it's just something like that caught my eye. There's one section, it says there might be some residents of Pointe-du-Chêne and that did not have access to multi-purpose center because it was a dart tournament. Don't know what happened there. There's a letter like they mentioned. Which paragraph? Oh, switch to English.
Center, but it was hosting a major dart tournament at the same time where the stranded people had to pay for food.
Well, il y avait Dart Tournament qu'il y avait là, il y avait deux autres.
Yeah, they were a dart tournament. There were two other rooms that were open to public. They were free, and we had provided like some food. So, and it was free of charge. So, I just wanted to make sure, like for the dart tournament, well, the bar was open and we have snacks, but you have to pay for those snacks. So we did provide food and snacks. Councillor Paul, just a question. So our plan, I'm trying to look on the internet. Where is it? We have policies, and I was trying to look to find our plan, like the plan we did like a few years. So I will find it and send it to you, like because there were some good recommendations. Thank you, Gilles. So there is a motion, moved by Councillor Germaine Galland, seconded by Councillor Paul Boudreau, to support the request of the Pointe-du-Chêne group. All those in favor saying aye. Against nay. Carried. Thank you. So this concludes the correspondence section, Mr. Mayor. Next item, 8, reports from standing and special committees. So we have the financial report is available for this evening. I have it in front of me. I would need someone to read, to move that the financial report be approved as presented. Moved by Councillor Germaine Galland, seconded by Deputy Mayor Jean-Claude Berdain. Questions on the report and on the motion? Mr. Lin, so you might have like a sweet night, an easy night. No questions on the financial report. All those in favor saying aye, against nay. Carried. No, I think it was not too long ago we took a look. 8.2.1, the protective services. I would like to mention like the presence of the fire chief, the night premier. I think like your month of October was not as busy as the month of September. I don't know, did you have a chance to take a look at the report? Did you have any questions or
Continuez toujours votre beau travail.
keep up the good work
Sécurité de notre communauté. Mais
for the safety of our community and above and beyond, like the community, like outside the municipal level, 8.3, like a building permit. So you should have received the report. So
Pellerin pourra me-
and Mr. Pellerin could correct me if I'm wrong, but
à date, à ce moment-là, pour la fin,
as of
pour la fin septembre, c'est ça?
as the end of September, we were at 52,600,000, and there's another a major permit that came in, and now we're above like the 64 millions. He said thousand, but it's millions. It's a new record. Councillor Paul, just a question maybe. I see this report, like I would like to congratulate you and Jonathan for the reading permit. Like when we see like the crane and developers like in the room, it's not there's always some open for business and bargaining. And thank you, Jonathan, your team. So the question, Villa Providence, is it like so I saw like they removed some wood, like just to inform you. So the La Villa project is going well, but they need like to finish like all like the plans to make sure they get all the permits required. So things are going quite good. So the Fulham construction is saying it should be ready like in the spring, like to pour concrete. So that's getting in line. Sometime if we go too fast, we could miss something. And it's a major company, so they want to make sure like everything is good with their plan before they can prepare the request. But they could prepare like the land, as you can see. So that's what they decided to do. So it would be ready. Like we'll keep you posted. So once the permit is out, thank you. Thank you.
Toutes nos félicitations.
And congratulations to the team. Great work.
On est choyés d'être dans une
We're very, very fortunate to have in a growing community.
Numéro 9, rapport du
9.
directeur
Report
général.
from the town manager. Just quickly, I will give you an update on two files. The first one is for human resources. As you know, Bob McEwen is starting next Monday. We closed like the application for the bylaw officer, so we got about 30 something applications. So I can tell you like maybe the third of them that will be retained. So we have good applicants. So we're meeting Denise Guitar and myself this week, like to assess like the applications and to know which one, decide which one will go through an interview. We would like to have someone in place to bring a resolution to the council on November 28th, the last meeting of the month of November. I don't think we'll be ready before, but by the end of November. And this week we will open the position for the communication officer, and we would like to have this individual in place in January. We still have Brian Cormier is our consultant. He's doing good work. So he did the last press release. I don't know if you saw them for Fiona on the information, and Jonathan posted it online. So we also had like a press release for the solar farm. So it went. It was broadcasted on CBC. So we have good communication with the media, and that individual should be in in place in January. For the other position, is the position of the engineering and sustainable development. It will be under Bob McEwen. So I'm waiting like next week to open the position. So we're looking for a civil engineer to reduce the cost, because we invested a lot like in engineering firms for projects. So we discussed with Lynn, and it's like $100,000 per year. So we'd like to have someone in place, and then it should be, come even. And by beginning of January, we'll open also the position human resources, because Denise should have finished by the end of December. So the West Bay main project, things are going well. There's some small challenges, but everything seems to be falling in place. And by the end of the month, we should have finished phase 1, and then next year we'll have phase 2. Next year. Our new director will make a report. So that's it for my report this week. And I did an interview, not this morning, this morning for Main Street, and I'm doing another interview tomorrow morning, CBC and Radio-Canada. And talking to, that's a good story. So all the media also took the information the price for AFNB for the association. So it has like a good and also so when the solar farm will be activated, I think that commission when the solar. So when the solar farm's commissioned, because it's still being built, we will try to organize an event. So Mother Nature will see maybe at the site a multi-purpose center. It's just to mention also the implementation of the solar farm. So and you will have representative from Siemens Canada also. They want to come over, and they were supposed to come over this week, but it didn't work out. So we were looking for another day. It always draws some attention. Thank you very much. Recommendation from the Southeast Regional Service Commission, no one. Unfinished business. The administration had nothing for this evening, but we wanted to mandate the administration for the request from our developer. Councillor Lepoy. We covered 3 things at the same time. You will still finish business. If it's, I know, intro of new business, we have. Tell me when I can talk. Did you want to talk? Oh, okay. No, something else. Okay. Mr. Deputy concerning the developer, the recommendation of this evening, I would like to go forward also the new engineer assess the situation to make the construction go forward. So and as soon as possible. Moved by Council Deputy Mayor Jean-Claude Bertin, seconded by Jean-Claude Boutreau. Questions on the motion? If not, all of those in favor signify by saying aye. Against nay. Motion carried. Introduction to new business. Request from the Shediac watershed. So I will go back. Paul, will be your turn at item 13. So we have letter from the watershed. I know it's Councillor Germain. She's the liaison. Can you explain what they're looking for? I read the letter, I just read it. I think they want to pay they paid 2,500 and 5,000 just to clean up the little creek close to the bakery. It was supposed to cost $2,500 more. So it's really Melissa Pajot initiated this project with the watershed, and it's an area that is so they need equipment to remove that way. So we asked the watershed. So we had a budget we had some leftover budget, and it went above what we gave up for an estimate. They were surprised by the magnitude of the cleanup they have to do. Something that needed to be done. So because you had old tires and everything. So I think there will be another request because they can afford. Almost no money in the budget, but I think Lynn. I think we had to go on the discretionary fund. I move that we give them the 2,500 so they can finish cleaning they started. Seconded by Councillor Jean-Marc Galland, seconded by Councillor Sylvie Colette-Boutreau. Questions on the motion? If not, all in favor signify saying aye. Against, nay.
Adopté.
Carried.
Demande de renseignement des membres du conseil, M. Président.
Inquirers by members of council. We'll take, just to notify, like the meeting, like we have a meeting, like active transportation. Thank you, Councillor Sylvie and Emile. And Jill, we had a good report for access to water, so it was proposed that we do a presentation to all the members of the council on November 7th. So the pros and cons, so you would be aware. Then we'll be able to study the file and go forward and take a decision. So we had a very productive meeting, and it was interesting. The other one was the fire department, fire station. So should I make a motion or? Because the members of the fire station committee met several times to discuss like the future needs of the fire station, and whereas the administration like had identified like some consultant firms. I don't know which one. Gilles, you know what you moved, and whereas those firms has expertise and experience for this type of project, for a fire station, I moved that the administration works officially with the firefighters and the designated individual to start the selection of a consultant firm to make this project go forward. So I would have a comment after. Moved by Councillor Paul Boudreau, seconded by the Councillor Emile O'Brien. I think you seconded before it was done. So you did have a question, just a comment. I would invite like the fire chief or Councillor Gilles or Emile to add on this file, because you were all present at those meetings, and Jill, like we had like a deadline, and what is the next steps with the fire chief, and to officially go forward. So did you have anything to add on this file, Emile, Jill, Roger, Dana? I think you summarized it quite well. So, Mr. Mayor, is the report I sent to the council, how we would proceed. So the council doesn't have to go to tender, like to get the architect firm or engineer firm. So we recommended 4 firms that would do this type of work. So it's to start the project, and then they could come back with some plans and also an estimate of the cost, as the fund also would be from the council. Thank you. Any more questions only on this motion? I know probably you have more. Councillor Emile, it's a proposal that we have for the administration that will work closely with the fire chief to do a selection, and our new municipal operations director will help. I hope we do not scare that person too much. Is the type of project Bob McEwen wanted to have. So on this motion, any other questions? Patricia, I just have a question, so maybe we could vote on the motion. No amount of money or not. It's to mandate the administration and then go back to the council. So it always go back to the council. Yeah. Just to find like the consultant firm. And Peter, you have a question on this motion? No? Something else? Councillor Janice, is it a question on the motion? No. If not, all those in favor saying aye. Against, nay. Carrie, thank you very much. Next item for new business. So the last meeting, Councillor Janice made a motion for the strategy to hire like a new executive director. Is there something moving? I was able to have a good discussion with an agency. Someone was doing this like it's a recruiting agency, and I'm waiting to get like a written proposal, and I should get it this week. So, and it will be more in detail with cost and with the scope of the cost.
question.
So
Regarde,
the guy, like if he was younger, it would be interesting to apply. So that's a good sign in a sense.
Conseiller Peter.
Councillor Peter, I have two items. The first one is to know for the equipment for audiovisuals was ordered. If yes, if it's the case, will it be on time? So the question, yes, will it be on time? Well, we're still like in the COVID period. I know like Ivan's camera like so they're really looking for a temporary option, but some parts could might be delayed, and we should get the equipment like in December, in January. Sorry. And for the offices, we had a meeting with Glenwood Kitchen and the decorator, so we agreed on some colors, and that should be presented next week, and we might have everything in place on January, but the target is January 3rd, but there are some delays. You will be the first one informed. So we know like probably be some delays on the visuals, but Ivan Cameras is confident it can put like a temporary system. So they have pieces of equipment. They already have a plan B. So my second question is the safety of employees, like the firefighters, because I think when we tour like the fire station, they talk about the problem like the contamination suits, and I think Mr. Cormier, you mentioned there was a solution, like a quick solution that could be done, but was it addressed or?
Veux-tu venir
Donald, do you want
avec des informations en bref?
to give a couple of information? It's only a temporary, like, but we tested like so they gave us like a temporary solution. It's to wash on this. It's not well. I don't think something we can do in the winter, but we will do it like throughout the winter until we get something. So it would be temporary. But you're confident it's still safe for your guys? So it's good. Like I think it's even because they were reducing like the risk. And your guys are okay with this? Okay. We're supposed to have a meeting like to talk to them. So. And there is something we're putting in place. So we're just expecting like some equipment that did not come through yet. So once they come in, well, thank you. Thanks, Donald.
Conseiller Janice, ensuite conseiller Patricia.
Councillor Janice and Patricia.
Envie sur place. J'ai pas compris qu'est-ce qu'elle
I
en
did
fait.
not understand when you mentioned with the equipment like we're wearing when there's a fire. So the bunker suit and it has to be clean. It has to be clean on site. We put this in a bag. We put it away. We get back to the fire station. We wash it right away. It's in a bag, so it will be okay. Then we bring it in our truck, and then we go back. So we do it on all the scenes, like because in the winter it will be more difficult because it's cold. We will do it. We'll try like when we are together, but it can be done. But we'll do it as much as we can. The guys are okay with this, so especially like the structure fire. So we do not have a whole lot per year. Like if we have maybe 20. So maybe it's not for each. It's not each call like because it would. Yeah, they wash there. The suit themselves. Once they're done, so minus 30. So you will spray the firefighters. So we'll do it like in one way, but if they're full of smoke and we automatically like they have to clean like their they're sued. So we'll have to be cleaner, but we need like a brush and soaps. It can be done, yes, but it's when we it's to solve the problem before we find a solution. So
D'où la nécessité et le besoin pour
so that's the need,
meilleures
like
installations.
to have better installation. Like we're used to we're doing it already, like on the call. So when they're full of soot, like we cannot bring like so we spray the guys and so with this we have to clean it. So it's a little bit more extra steps, but that can be done. Like,
Merci.
thank you.
Il a pas dit, mais ça arrose rien qu'à l'eau chaude.
Yeah, they just spring themselves with hot water.
Conseillère Janice.
Councillor Janice,
C'est une question à propos de ça. puis j'ai
there's a question on this, and
parlé quand on avait dit
didn't we say like
peut-être garder une
that we would look at a solution to
un trailer, là, mais comme
not a trailer,
Construction, là.
like a construction trailer?
puis comme ça serait-tu de quoi qui serait comme
Would it be something that would be worthwhile for the winter or not?
coup de feu, comme il y a
C'est quelque chose qu'ils ont examiné.
It's
puis,
something they looked at,
ils
and
trouvaient que ça allait moins bien
it's
fonctionner.
they didn't think it would work so well. So you would be like a delay on your call. So because the trailer will be outside the fire station. So when you're on a fire scene, like every minute counts, so we cannot lose any time to wash. Only at the station, they have two suits each. There's only one suit that is okay, good to go. Like, perfect. Do you want to add anything on this one? Go ahead. Just Peter, we touched this subject at the beginning of the meeting to talk about the fire station. And Fire Chief Donald, and it's one of the components that will be with the architects and engineer
La nouvelle caserne.
for the new, like the new fire station, like the future fire station. So it was to address like the challenge, what they referred to, like. But Donald assured us like the new fire station will be addressed. Like Donald will be able to work with the architect permanently,
Et également d'un espace chauffé.
and also in the heated space.
Autre chose?
Anything else? Yeah. So I have my own
la cantine à l'Arena Chiliac.
the canteen at the Shediac Arena.
Chez Denis
Have we heard something else? We were able like to check further because we're on November 1st.
commence à jouer.
So the teams are starting to play. The tournament should start, and we do not have a canteen. So any work on this one, we cannot say more. I don't think it progressed.
Compris jusqu'à date. OK. Monsieur Patricia?
Councillor Patricia, it was concerning the two-way stop we have on Beaubridge Street. So when do we expect like to get the data? They were supposed to analyze the rest of the street. We had asked
Analyse des données qu'ils avaient déjà.
like so the data, so I did not have heard anything yet. So the conversation I had with them was we should get something by the end of next week. So we asked to get something before November 7th. Was there anyone who were able to visit? I know I went to Dieppe, I wasn't impressed because someone went through, besides they went through and said, if we have it here, well, in our subdivision, I would like to see if someone has other opinions, because when they presented the option, I thought it was great, so we will solve a lot of problems, but once I checked, I was deceived. I'm not sure. And they said, correct me if I did not understand properly, essentially they said like for those two stops,
On n'avait pas besoin de faire aucun
we
changement.
did not need to make any changes, but if we wanted to make a change, we could add the traffic circle. I know we do not have to,
Un cercle de trafic.
yeah, a traffic circle. We needed to do anything, but I think there's a problem. Something will happen.
Peu importe la solution qui
regardless
serait,
of the
qui serait
solution,
installée, regarde, ou quelque chose qui va fonctionner.
we want something that will be work
Va donner des faits.
and will have the right impact. It will slow down traffic, so there will be other discussion. I know they gave this example. I saw it in the past, but like the traffic circle in Dieppe, but
Il est plus gros celui-là, je crois.
that one is bigger. I think it would be important to get the results, to get some numbers.
Ça va venir. Puis l'idée, c'est au moins
And the idea is at least we can
des possibles travaux.
bring them for possible work for the next construction season.
D'autres questions?
Any more questions? Councillor Janice and then Paul.
Oui. Conseil Paul est gracieux, mais il faut...
Councillor Paul is gracious.
Merci, Monsieur le maire.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I totally agree, with Councillor Chevalier. I think we need, to study this file. I think we might have some solution. I'm not 100% sure they are the right solution. I would like to push the envelope within Globe, to. I know they bring a solution because we're looking for solutions. I don't think those traffic circle are
C'est quelque chose qui peut
the solution.
certainement revenir au
It's something that could go back to the protection committee. So,
que le comité sont moins de pour.
so that's part of the mandate. I would not to jump on the first solution. From what I saw, it's important to choose the right solution.
Conseil Paul?
Oui, madame, moi j'étais apporté mon intervention, je sais pas si
I would like to bring your attention, if you were aware,
stratégie semblable à
there's a similar strategy in a neighboring town, and there were some legal challenges, and they had to
de stratégie.
redo their strategy. I will not get to detail,
Juste pour être sûr que
just to make sure Englobe is aware
de mettre
of the history and to put some systems and
puis mettre l'appel à
before,
chaud de même. Donc, juste pour être sûr,
just to make sure,
pas qu'on fasse de quoi tout d'un coup.
so we do not know, we put some, so we have a solution as
Faire le coup de bien.
to have something. There's also a.
Pas d'un ingénieur, mais je sais pas.
I'm not an engineer, and I mentioned in the middle of our intersection, catch basin, so we have a lot of other services. So what do we do with those? I agree with Janice on this evening. They gave the solution, the roundabout, just maybe to shut us up.
Regardez plus en détail.
At least to look this into
J'ai pris
detail.
la liberté de parler avec la municipalité.
I took the initiative to talk to the municipality with the mayor,
Ils m'avaient renseigné sur
and he gave me some information of what happened.
Et ça, c'était quelque chose que
It was something that the council should not have proceeded with.
en fait, dans le temps,
They did it at the time.
il y a raison pourquoi
That's one of the reasons they can remove it.
c'était pas. Je crois que ça a été fait peut-être sans une grande.
I think it was done without undertaking a study.
Voilà.
Thank you, Roger.
Vite,
To go too fast.
tu t'enlignes pas dans la bonne direction.
Yeah, just go too fast. Yeah, we have to take the right direction. Okay. For snow removal. So I don't know what is the procedure. I know we do not have a public works. Bob would have been popular this evening. Maybe might not have been able to answer because I got out Casey Street just to go home, and I stopped. If you have some trees, you cannot see well. So when you have a snowbanks, then so the visibility will be reduced. So is there something to modify with our roads? I think for the children will be taking the bus and for the safety. Maybe not during the snowstorm, but Casey Street,
OK, là.
Beaubridge Street, it should be plowed maybe the day after, or as soon as the school reopens, so the day after the storm, the school, the children and teenagers will walk so the sidewalks on Beaubridge. So they're plowed very early. So I don't know if there's no solution until next spring. I think like the sidewalk should become like a priority. My wife she walks on this side very early in the morning, so she walks early. I knew they were done.
Parfait, merci.
You remember the resolution like for the financial report, so
Proposé, appuyé par Jean-Claude.
yeah, seconded by Jean-Claude. So
Merci. Donc, numéro 14.1, deuxième lecture de l'arrêté.
so second reading of bylaw B23, Councillor Janice. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Second reading of bylaw B-20-10, Centre-Ville Shediac Downtown Inc. budget. I move that the bylaw 23-10 be read a second time by title and its entirety. Moved by Councillor Janice Cormier, seconded by
Jean-Claude Bertin.
Deputy Mayor Jean-Claude Bertin.
En faveur, on dira
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Against nay.
adopté.
Carried. Mr. Clerk. Bylaw number B310, a bylaw regarding the budget of Centre-Ville Shediac Downtown. Whereas the Council of the Town of Shediac has enacted a bylaw establishing a business improving area pursuant to the Business Improvement Areas Act of the Acts of New Brunswick. And whereas the said act authorizes council to impose a levy on non-residential properties within the business improvement area, therefore the council of the town of Shediac duly assembled make as follows, pursuant to paragraph 5(2)(a) of the Real Property Tax Act, a levy of 20 cents for each $100 of assessed value for the year beginning 1/2023, and ending this. And is thereby imposed on all non-residential situated within business improvement area and bylaw B1011 enacted November 29, 2010, and it will be beginning January 1st, 2023 and ending December 23rd, 2023. I move that we accept like second reader of bylaw 23-10 by its title and entirety, moved by Councillor Janice Cormier, seconded by Deputy Mayor Jean-Claude Bertin. Question on the motion. So the 20 cents for 100, is it still the maximum? Yes, that's it. Perfect.
En faveur, on dira oui.
All those in favor saying aye, against nay, carried.
Janice.
Councillor Jean. Third reading of bylaw B-23-10, Centre-Ville Shediac Downtown Inc. budget. I move that the bylaw B-2310, a bylaw relating to Centre-Ville Shediac Inc. budget, be read a third time by its title. Moved by Councillor Janice Cormier, seconded by Deputy Mayor Jean-Claude Bertin. Questions on the motion? If not, all those in favor signify saying aye. Against nay? Carried. Like bylaw 23, Centre-Ville Downtown Inc. budget. I move that we accept like the third reading by title, and that we accept the third reading by title, that of the bylaw B-23, moved by Councillor Janice, and then seconded by Jean-Claude Bertin. If all in favor say aye, against nay, carried. Then Councillor Patricia, I think the first reading of bylaw number 23-24, that a bylaw modifying of the water of the town of Shediac be authorized, and that is that bylaw is read by title, seconded by Councillor Sylvie Colette Boudreau. Mr. Clerk, bylaw number 23-24, a bylaw relating to the water system. All those in favor signify saying aye, against nay, carried. Also, Mr. Clerk, he said he went to a bylaw relating to the water system. I move that we accept the first reading of the bylaw like 22-24, moved by Councillor Bourg-Chavary, seconded by Councillor Chaman Gala.
Tous en faveur de dire oui.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Against nay.
Adopté.
Carried.
Oui. Conseiller Germain, tu pourrais faire
Councillor Germain,
15.1.
if you could do the motion 15.1. Adoption of the Shediac 2020 Centre of Shediac Inc. This certified that on the 31st day of October 2022, the town Shediac Council will approve through a bylaw that imposition of a contribution for improving business on all non-residential real estate property located in the municipal business improvement areas and that taxable under the Assessment Act. The amount of the contribution will be $115,600 at 20 cents per $100, and the council orders and directs that the said amount is withdrawn by the Minister of Environment and Local Government in accordance with the Business Improvement Areas Act, adopted on this 31st day of October 2022 by the Shediac Town Council. I shall move. Moved by Councillor Chaman Gala, seconded by Councillor Bourg-Chavary. Questions on the motion? Just to bring a precision, I discussed with Lynn at the last meeting, like I discussed, like we cannot put it like in this amount because that's what was posted in the newspapers. 115,000. So that's what at the end of September. So Anne will just do the modification for the next one. So thank you. Councillor Paul, so just a quick, I don't know if it, so does it include also like the apartment building downtown? Is it only the businesses? So it's a real estate non-residential property, only commercial. So the new because some business, if they have, the province will probably do the calculation like a percentage maybe of the building that is commercial. So that's where I was going. Thank you, Gilles. So, all those in favor saying aye, against nay, motion carried. 15.2, Street Closure Remembrance Day. Street Closure Remembrance Day. Therefore, be it resolved that the Shediac Town Council approved the partial closure of Main Street between Sackville Street and Victoria Street on November 11 between the hours of 9 a.m. and 12 to accommodate Remembrance Day's activities organized by the Royal Canadian Legion in partnership with the town of Shediac. I shall move. Moved by Councillor Paul Boudreau, seconded by Councillor Germain Gala. Questions on the motion? It's clear. It's for all those in favor signify saying aye, against nay. Motion carried. Next item, appointments committee. So we have no appointments this evening. 17, adjournment. Mrs. Sylvie Colette Boudreau is moving the adjournment. Councillor Peter, he said he went too fast. I just want to know. I don't know if it's here for the project like AML, Mac Laforêt, what they were proposing earlier. I do not understand, like, in 2013, like it was accepted, the development plan, the subdivision plan was like, and the town agreed like to bring water and sewer, so why do they have to submit a new request? I'm not sure we accepted to do it at the time. Marco was there, so I'd like with Bob to see like what was the discussion they had at the time. If they had any recommendation, it would be brought back to the council. So it's something, as Monsieur Laforêt said, he didn't think it was urgent because the project was not far enough. So did you only report then the project or? So the request was not processed because the developer was not ready to do it. So, yeah, the town never committed at the time to do. Not to our knowledge, no. Thank you. No, we have nothing in writing. Thank you. Thank you very much for your presence, attendance. Have a good evening.